Hey, Real Nerds listeners, there's many ways you can interact with the Real Nerds podcast. You can email us at realnerds@gmail.com. You can hit us on Twitter @RealNerds. You want to check us out on Facebook? You can. Just look for Real Nerds Podcast. You want to leave us a voicemail? Just call 720-6nerds5. You want to listen to our episodes? You can check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
This is Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2021 and forever. I am Ryan on Zoom again with Brad and Zach. Hello.
What up?
Oh, you know, new week, new president-elect. It's a good week.
Yeah.
Number 46.
You know, I was like, man, a lot of people voted for Joe Biden. And I go, man, too many people voted for Donald Trump.
Now we know. We know. It wasn't a mistake last time.
Well, no,
Numbers don't lie.
I mean, I didn't think it was. I'm not one of those weird conspiracy people, but...
Well, I hope it was like just out of apathy. Like that was the difference, but nope.
Yeah.
No, it just proves, like I've been saying for 4 years, it just proves our country is more racist and sexist than we want to believe. And I mean, I'm sticking to that assessment. But it's a new day. It's been beautiful in Colorado.
Let's just have one more moment of pessimism. Ryan, do we suck?
No, we're awesome.
Okay.
I mean, we're good. I don't know about you, but
I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty terrible.
Yeah. You know, but what's really awesome is I think when they're going to be done counting, it's going to be almost 80 million people voted against Trump, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That just means that that people were sick of him as much as everybody else was.
Yeah.
although there's still like 160 million who didn't carry their way. So
I know. And it's so funny too, because you know, when you listen to the coverage and they say, you know, Mellon ballot fraud or whatever he's clinging on to, you know, you want to say that I think Colorado's been mail-in for like 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Most states are. It's just the ones why it took so long, like Pennsylvania was the first year they had widespread mail-in ballots.
yeah, they threw it together really quick. So
Yeah.
They had which they needed to do to accommodate everything going on with COVID too. So
yeah,
a lot of things.
Arizona as well. So
a lot of things were at play. It'll be interesting when they make a movie about the last 4 years, and this is the climax.
I don't want to watch that movie.
I know. We lived it.
didn't we get a 9/11 movie like 4 years later?
United 93, yeah.
Yeah, because United 93, and then World Trade Center after that. And then maybe like a little bit in between before we got Remember Me and then Zero Dark 30. So.
Yeah. Wait, before we get into news, though, I should tell people what we do in our podcast. That was a really weird opening we just did. Every week on Real Nerds, we see a new movie, sometimes in the theater, and we podcast that experience to the world. This week, we saw Let Him Go, and we'll be talking about that film.
Why are we doing a vampire movie from like 2010?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Let Me In. Gotcha.
Yeah.
First they let him in, then they let him go.
The
Can't wait to see the finish the trilogy.
So anyways, we also talk about movie news, movies that are coming out on Blu-ray, movies that we've watched throughout the week. And I mean, I guess we went a little political there. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll cut it out.
I don't have to cut it out. But hopefully we don't have to deal with that anymore. He'll go away quietly in the night, and it's a beautiful morning. But yeah,
I had a Mr. Blue Sky playing in my head for most of the week.
Nice.
You just imagine Baby Groot dancing as it was going on.
Yeah.
So actually, just one quick thing before we go on. How are your parents, Brad?
Dude.
Yeah, we may need to cut this out.
It has not been a fun week, I tell you what.
Yeah, I'm lucky that my
Your family's alignment.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't marry Laura if she voted for Donald Trump. That'd be a divorce. But in my profession, I'm an albatross. There's not very many of us in my profession. By us, I mean leaning blue in my profession.
You don't say.
Yeah, but for some weird reason, the really obnoxious supporters have been really quiet this week. It's been pretty awesome. And the best part is so I'm going to get, so 2 years ago, year and a half ago, I made a bet with someone who works for the county that Donald Trump would get impeached. And we bet lunch at Mountain Prime, which is our like upscale steak place in Idaho Springs. So that happened. And I just got like a sirloin or something. But then we had a bet that he would lose the election. And this time I'm going to get the $70 fucking tomahawk steak, and it's going to taste so good.
Is that the one where, like, if you eat it in under an hour, you, like, get a cash prize?
I mean, I wish it was like the Great Outdoors. But no. I don't know how big it is, but it's $70. And, normally I wouldn't jack him up, but he just got promoted to being a sergeant. So he makes a lot of money now, so he's going to pay. It's going to taste so sweet. Oh, man.
Is it a steak butchered from the godliest of cows? Like, that seems like a lot for a steak.
Tomahawk steak is a ribeye that has it's like a huge, thick part of the ribeye that still has the rib bone connected to it.
Oh, okay. That does sound delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Get it medium rare. Get some. Every day they have a new risotto there, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I might even get like a soup just to make the bill really expensive. I gotta find a way to make the bill like $306, and then I can say, hey, this is how many electoral votes Biden got.
Do you remember that David Cross bit? It's in one of his stand-up specials where he talks about like a dessert with gold shavings on it, and the journey that it took to get that. Like, that's what you should try to find, is like the most expensive dessert menu that has like gold shavings on it.
Odorless, tasteless gold. And I think that restaurant is actually in Trump Tower.
Oh man! So
on George,
you can just tell him with his sweet tax cut, he can pay for the steak.
Totally. But we talk about movies, and Brad's segue that happened 10 minutes ago is going to happen now. This is movie news.
It's real news.
Yes, even amidst celebration, there is a mourning to happen, and it comes in the form of Alex Trebek, who passed away at the age of 80. I'll take what is sadness for 500, guys. This was sad. It wasn't unexpected.
The answer is the year 2020.
Yes, exactly.
Or scientifically, it's pancreatic cancer, but yeah, 2020.
Yes. Thank you for leading to that, Brad. Yeah, he had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer last year, so this was kind of expected.
Yeah, I got so DC Comics. They don't put stuff in previews anymore because they dropped Diamond as a distributor. So they have this digital one called DC Direct, and they got rid of all their Wonder Woman 84 tie-in covers for December. So I'm guessing in the next day or so that's going to be announced as being delayed again.
Yeah, taking a guess. But anyway, back to Mr. Trebek. Not really a film guy, but he was populating our televisions for years. And if there's anybody in here who didn't watch Jeopardy at some point in their lives, if not constantly, then you're just lying to yourselves, because it was a wonderful show. My family and I we still watch it together, and we tally each other to figure out who answered the most questions in the house. But he did appear in a bunch of films, mostly as himself. He even appeared on Rugrats as a character called Alan Quebec, who was the host of a game show when Dee
Wait a minute, he's also from Canada.
He is.
Clever Rugrats writers.
Yeah, I know. They're just super on the ball there with their naming skills. But he also appeared on The Simpsons, The X-Files. He was in Groundhog Day as himself. And White Men Can't Jump, Shortcuts. So yeah, I mean,
in
his
Spy
biggest
Hard,
legacy.
apparently.
What?
He's in Spy Hard, apparently.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That Finding Forrester as the host of Jeopardy, Charlie's Angels. He was on Saturday Night Live more than once, obviously, because one of the biggest SNL sketches within the last 20 years has been Celebrity Jeopardy. In fact,
Oh man, he's in Free Guy.
Oh, so he.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
Oh wow, really? Oh,
he's
wow.
playing himself.
So that'll be his the opening credits for the new 20th Century Studios will be a montage of him, correct? Like the way they did for Stan Lee. No, but yeah, no. I mean, that's a major like legacy to leave behind of a game show host. Where like in a world where I feel like game shows like Jeopardy and even Wheel of Fortune don't particularly exist in that form anymore. Like they've changed forms and shapes so often in the past 20 years, and they're a little bit more reality driven and less about like the formality of like you have this much time to answer this question or so and so. So he will definitely miss.
He hosted a couple game shows before Jeopardy, but there was a different incarnation of Double Dare in the 70s that he hosted.
Yep, he did Double Dare. Within that same time frame, he also did High Rollers, Stars on Ice, the $128,000 question, Pitfall, Battle Stars, Starcade. He doesn't start his gig on Jeopardy until 1984. And he also kind of helped out with...
There's a Super Jeopardy.
Yep, Super Jeopardy in 1990, To Tell the Truth. This is a fun story that I did not know happened in 1987 or 1997, I should say. On April Fool's Day, he and Pat Sajak switched positions. So Trebek hosted Wheel of Fortune and Sajak hosted Jeopardy. So that's kind of cute. And they had a friendly rivalry over the years. So nice little Benny Allen thing going on for them. But hands down, the one thing that is amazing is like he's the host of a game show that captured the nation's attention more than once within the last 20 years because of the people who were on a roll. And if you watch the show, if contestants got an answer that was obviously wrong, he had this wonderful way of being snarky without being an asshole. Like he would just like, it was like a flyby like burn that he was able to apply to the people who were not getting the obvious questions right. So, yeah, it's very much a shame.
Hence the inspiration for Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, on Will Ferrell's final appearance, final show for SNL, Alex Trebek came out himself to congratulate him. So that a lot of those videos are available on the SNL app and on YouTube. So if you want to see them, it's weird. The real life Sean Connery, the real life Alex Trebek, and the real life Burt Reynolds are now all gone. So now they all have to be replaced by their doppelgangers, which are Will Ferrell, Norm Macdonald, and Daryl Hammond. So maybe Daryl Hammond could host Jeopardy, because I don't think you'd get Will Ferrell to do it, but maybe Daryl Hammond can do a good Trebek impression or something. But yeah, it has been said that he filmed enough shows to last up until December 25th, but no producers of the show have announced any plans for a replacement host yet. So,
Get Will Ferrell to do it.
Alex, yeah, but dude, you know what? Maybe we should get Brad to do it. He's calm enough that he could pull off the Trebek kind of personality on the air.
Well, Trebek was also smart enough to play the Jeopardy game, so.
Brad, all you got to do is read some books. It's very simple.
All right, I'll study everything ever done.
Yeah, you got to be done by the end of the week.
Yep, I'm on it.
Ryan starts shipping out your entire library to Brad. He's going to need it.
Actually, they should get like Ken Jennings to do it or something.
Oh yeah, he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that'd be a great idea. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah. Moving on. There wasn't like a whole ton of stuff that happened. I think the biggest one is that Johnny Depp has dropped out of the Fantastic Beasts franchise following the court case in the UK.
He dropped out of it, or they're like, hey,
sadly asked to leave.
He was asked to leave, and let me finish. He positioned it as he is agreeing to step down at Warner Brothers' request. So you could say he dropped out because he didn't go kicking and screaming. However, yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do with Fantastic Beasts between this and some other stuff that's been going on in the Potter world. I don't even know if anybody really cares if those movies get made or not at this point.
Oh, and I think it's already in production.
Oh, really? Okay, well then
It's
they're
been filming for a couple weeks. I would just bring back Colin Farrell.
that's what the general consensus is across the internet, is bring back Colin Farrell, which I'd agree with because he's really good in that first Fantastic Beasts movie.
I think so
He's
too.
not my issue with that movie.
That was one of those reveals at the end of the first Fantastic Beasts I think people groaned at.
Yeah. Well, and this was, I mean, I don't know.
I didn't see either. So Colin Farrell and Johnny Depp played the same villain.
It's because Grindelwald can change his own appearance and form. So,
So he could just be anybody in the third one.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, like at this point, you could get literally anybody else. You could, you get Ryan Reynolds to do it in a feasible world, but
Yeah, so this isn't that weird at all, really.
which I kind of want to see Ryan Reynolds be an evil wizard. I don't know why, but but anyway, yeah. So we'll see how everything's developed. The movie is set to debut in summer 2022. I did not even realize that was the thing. So okay, well, we'll see how that works out. We'll move on to another franchise. We got technically a first image of Spider-Man 3, but it's not really an image. Tom Holland posted a picture of himself wearing an extra mask on top of his Spider-Man mask with the tagline, "Wear a mask, I'm wearing two." So
My favorite
Spider-Man.
thing from the last week, in movie wise, is that Tom Holland flew from somewhere in Europe, and the next finishing Uncharted, and the next day he was filming Spider-Man. Like, yes,
that's what's happened. That's what happens when you're in your early 20s and you're full of caffeine. You can do whatever you want, Ryan.
that or I mean, here's the thing: is if Sony's going to pay him, I don't know, probably $20 million for Uncharted. And then they're like, we need you to shoot Spider-Man back to back. Here's another $20 million. I'd be like, all right, sounds good.
Ryan, do you think I could pull off playing Spider-Man? Because I want $20 million.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like a Bizarro world Spider-Man. I mean, this is the multiverse. I could be the Spider-Man from the universe that sucks. Anyway, let's move on. Christopher Nolan had some stuff to say about the Tenet release, which I honestly thought was going to be him kind of backlashing, but he does make a fair point.
No, I think that interview, he's spot on.
Yeah, he said, and this is the quote, this is the big quote from the Los Angeles Times interview that he did. Warner Brothers released Tenet, and I'm thrilled that it has made almost $350 million, but I am worried that the studios are drawing the wrong conclusions from our release. That rather than looking at where the film has worked well and how that can provide them with much needed revenue, they're looking at it where it hasn't lived up to pre-COVID expectations and will start using that as an excuse to make exhibition take all the losses from the pandemic instead of getting in the game and adapting or rebuilding our businesses, in other words. He's absolutely right, because once the pandemic hit, your expectations for bajillion-dollar movies went out the window, and you as a studio already make enough of that off of home video and digital alone, so you have to adjust your expectations if you want to keep that tradition going instead of just letting it die.
It's weird too, like when you go into grocery stores and there's tie-in products for Wonder Woman and the Minions and all this shit.
Oh God.
I've been seeing toys for Dune.
Ryan, so at the top of the pandemic, I'm a big fan of those Pillsbury Place and Bake cookies, and at the top of the pandemic, I was shopping, and like the one week I went out, and there were boxes upon boxes of Minions Place and Bake cookies, and I scooped them all up.
Nice.
There was a reason that I gained a little bit of weight during the big part of the pandemic, was because all of them were Minion cookies going right into my stomach. Now we have, there's still Wonder Woman stuff and Call of Duty stuff out there, but Wonder Woman stuff, like Dorito advertisements were there for months because the movie was supposed to come out in the summer. So Doritos don't give a fuck. They're just going to put out their product anyway. But yeah. And, and Nolan also said that long-term movie going is a part of life, like restaurants and everything else. But right now everybody has to adapt to new reality. So I think he has a lot more hope that theatrical exhibition will stick around. And I tend to
I think so.
believe what he says. You know,
I don't know how your guys' theater was, but when I went and saw Let Him Go, mine was sold out.
Yeah,
Mine
mine
was-
pretty much.
mine was-
Yeah,
mine was dead, but it was also the afternoon. So
And then I was reading Variety, and it made almost $5 million. That's not that bad for only being in like 500 theaters or something.
and when we talk about the movie today, you know, like given what the movie is in a world that has become accustomed to tentpole films, like the fact that it made this much in the middle of this pandemic is actually a testament to its abilities. But
I'm actually
we'll talk about
kind of
that later.
curious to see how our movie of the week next week does. I'd be really stoked if it did really well. Our movie next week is Freaky,
Mhm. With Vince Vaughn.
because they're actually promoting it, and they're sticking to their release date, and it's a Friday the 13th. So I think it might work out well for Blumhouse.
Well, you know, the House of Blum needs no help. They're doing just fine. I don't know if you know this. They have Halloween in their back pocket, Brian. It's the greatest thing to have in your back pocket. Halloween. Anyway, I'll stop talking about a great franchise now. And we'll move along to, this is a story that I found was very interesting. So I didn't know this happened. Did you guys know that the remains of Richard III were found under a parking garage?
yeah.
I did not know this. But apparently Jeff Pope, Steve Coogan, and Stephen Frears knew about it, and they're turning it into a movie called The Lost King. And it's set to be about the woman who led the charge to get the remains dug up, because when she did the research and concluded that it was underneath the parking garage, people wouldn't believe her, but she pressed on and got the job done. So this sounds like a fun movie. If anybody hasn't seen Philomena, you should watch Philomena. It's really good. It proves that Steve Coogan's not just a strictly comedic actor. And actually, if you watch Stan and Ollie, it proves that he has a lot of dramatic range. And then Ryan, Brad, this is news just for you. It's not like strictly a confirmation of anything other than people want to do this, but sorry, my phone's. Bobby Herbeck, who was one of the screenwriters of the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which we did a retro episode on, he has had conversations with Steve Barron and Brian Henson to try to do a reboot of the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to basically do another film within the timeline of the original Ninja Turtles movies that you are such a fan of.
So basically, like TMNT 4.
That's what I think they should do. But the quote is weird because he's like, yes, the answer is yes. We're trying to make that happen. We want to do a reboot. We got our fans to come on. Fans come to us on Instagram and they're like, why don't you do a reboot of our first movie? We'd love to do it. And it seems like that terminology of reboot was used incorrectly because it looks like they want to just establish another entry in the series.
Yeah, it sounds like more of a sequel because the 2014 movie was the reboot.
Yeah. So, I mean, my question is, Brad, is what would you want it to be if being a fan of this particular iteration of the Turtles? I know you like all Turtles, but I know you love these movies. So,
yeah, I've been saying it for years. Do the live action, Henson Company suits and prosthetics, and just use the Where the Wild Things Are face mapping. So it's just the heads are animated, and then you can do they never touched the sci-fi aspect of. I mean, Turtles mutating is sci-fi already, but like the Triceratons and the Utroms and all the space stuff, you could do for a fourth movie.
Yeah, they never did Krang either in those movies.
Krang would in those movies would be just a Neutron. Krang is a product of the cartoon, so.
Okay, dang.
Speaking of Ninja Turtles, hey Brad, did you just get the regular cover for The Last Ronin, or did you get any variants?
I got a couple variants. Yeah, I got the. I mean, the regular cover is hard to find anyway, but I got the Kevin Eastman one where it's drawn like the Dark Knight Returns cover.
Nice.
And then two from Ben Bishop. He was one of the artists that showed up at Denver Comic Con a couple times, so he had two covers.
Yeah, the only reason I'm asking is because I got it and I got just the regular cover, just because you told me about this story. I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. And it's already selling for like $30.
Yeah, the Santa Luco cover is actually at Mile High Comics right now for $75.
Yeah, it's like the
And they have like 70 covers. So I'm like, I'm not going to bother trying to get them all.
No, I mean, I wouldn't get them all. I was just, it's like one of the hottest books I've seen, before it's released. Well, I guess Punchline, but
Yeah, I'm blown away. Like it's great, like to have that much demand for a Turtles book. But
that and the comic's really cool. Did you read it?
oh yeah,
That's a great comic.
I called it. I'm so proud of myself.
Is it just me, Brad, or is it just me, Brad, or are Turtles kind of on a kick this year? Because there's been a lot of Turtle news, more so than I've ever seen before.
Well, it was the 30th anniversary of everyone's favorite Turtle movie, so
Everyone, yes,
across the
true.
board,
It is my favorite.
like I've been recollecting the toys, and one of the figures in the box, before this year, you could get for like $50, and now they're selling for like $200.
Yeah.
So it's wild.
Incidentally, listeners need to go to, if they have Instagrams, need to go to Radley TMNT to see Brad's awesome collection. That's one of the coolest Instagram pages I follow, hands down, because I'm just like, there's one you posted today of like pizza Donatello or something like that, but he has is that a hot dog sticking out of his mouth or something? It looks weird.
It might be a pepperoni.
Okay. The angle of it made it look like a hot dog and or a cigar.
Yeah, it's a pizza toss and Turtles. They had these little pizza boxes in their chest that you could load with pizzas, and they would shoot them.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, like I was on my work trip when the last run-in dropped, so I was freaking out the whole time, wondering if it was actually going to end up in my hold slot.
Yeah.
And last week, Mile High didn't put the regular series 110 in there, so I had to go to different stores to find all the covers. So I opened a second slot over at Hero headquarters just to cover my last run bases for the rest of the run. But yeah, all the way through Michigan to Denver, I went to 4 or 5 shops, and just within a day, no last run-in. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Damn.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love when comics get like that.
They're really popular. Yeah.
Hey, you're quarantined. You got plenty of time to read. And then the last piece of news needs to go interrupted while I say this out loud. So it's been reported that because of their removal from Peacock, the Harry Potter movies are no longer streaming on any service. Now, they did reach out for me to give a quote on this matter, and I responded with, "Buy the fucking Blu-rays, idiots." They started to get like hostile about it, but this seems to be popping up every single week, is like something left a streaming service and it's easily remedied by get the physical copy. But I did find that was interesting is that I guess the television rights, which also extend into the streaming rights of Harry Potter, are owned by NBC Universal, and they took it off of Peacock to have it ready for showings on Sci-Fi and USA Network this month. So that thing's flip-flopping around like crazy because everybody had dibs on it for TV release. So it's interesting to learn more about how television distribution works for film. But yeah, if you want Harry Potter on Blu-ray and or DVD, they are pretty inexpensive to get. Pretty inexpensive.
Unless you have the Ultimate Editions like I do, and they're like,
Oh, they're out of print, aren't they?
Yeah, they're selling for over like $100 now.
Yeah, that's why I'm not even going to bother. I do like the look of them on your shelf, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of like, damn, I want those. But yeah, that is news.
Oh man, that is a sausage in his mouth.
I knew it. Well, I said hot dog, but yeah.
Or hot dog, yeah, whatever.
When I first saw it on the page, I was like, it looks like a cigar.
Yeah, but yeah, none of the other turtles had. Oh no, they all do. No, just Leo and Don like sausage in their mouths. Yeah, Mikey's got a pizza and Raph has nothing.
Ralph doesn't eat. He's too angry to eat. Too brooding to binge on food. Anyway, yeah, that's news.
Last week, Corinne didn't get us her Catching the Classics in time. So this week, we're going to play it right now. Corinne, what are you watching?
Hey nerds, this is Corinne for part 37 of Catching the Classics. And today is a double feature. I will be talking about Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai and the original version of The Magnificent Seven, the one with Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen. So, on the whole, I mean, granted, I just finished watching Magnificent Seven, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen Seven Samurai now. But it was kind of amazing, like, as I was watching The Magnificent Seven, like, how much of the Seven Samurai's plot points came back to me. And I was like, oh yeah, that reminds me of that thing, and that's like that other scene. And, on the whole, I don't know if I could say that I like one over the other. I think the pacing and the character work in Seven Samurai was better. And granted, that's because they have a lot more time. The movie's 3.5 hours long, and Magnificent Seven is 2 hours, which I have to admit, the copy of the DVD that I got from the library on Magnificent Seven was starting to, like, mess up in a couple of scenes, so I had to skip the training montage, and I had to skip, part of the, I don't know if it was the fight, but kind of like the aftermath of the first fight. The Magnificent Seven, like, apparently rode out of town, came back in, and, like, all the bandits were in the town, and it was like, oh, surprise. It's like, oh, I guess they left. I didn't get to see that scene. So, admittedly, I am a little biased, but, like I said, I think the characters in in Seven Samurai were a lot stronger. But on the other hand, I think Magnificent Seven had better theme work. I think it also had, like, a better, like, more rousing fight there at the very end, where the fact that the Magnificent Seven, you know, they choose, like, okay, we're gonna leave to keep the villagers safe and everything. And then once they get to the border and they decide, like, no, we're gonna go back. Like, that was a much stronger choice, and it made the following action sequence a lot, like, more, like, I was a lot more invested in it. It's interesting seeing the parallels between the characters, because I could see, having watched The Seven Samurai, I could tell, like, okay, Yul Brynner, like, he is I can't remember the samurai's names, like, at all. But he's, like, the leader. He was the one who, the analog of the guy who pretended to be the monk and who was the leader of the group and who kind of helped, coordinate all the other samurai. And then, interestingly, the one they kept calling Chico, the kid, he was kind of like a combination of Mifune's character from Seven Samurai and the young up-and-coming samurai. So he was kind of a blend of both those characters, which was interesting for me because I was like, okay, so is he gonna live or is he gonna die? Because in Seven Samurai, the kid, like the young samurai, lives at the end, but Mifune's character, who's kind of like the rogue of the group, he's not, like, really a samurai. And they kind of translate some of that over into the gunslinger character, the young gunslinger. Mifune's character dies in Seven Samurai. Spoilers, obviously. So I was a little bit worried. I was like, okay, is he gonna live at the end? And then he ends up living, but I could see, like, all the other ones, like, I could see their parallels to, the guy who was slinging the knife around. I can't remember everyone's names. He was a lot like the, I can't remember anybody's names, but the kind of, like, old and weathered samurai who was, like, you know, he was, like, the expert of the group, other than the bald monk one. Like, it's kind of interesting to see the parallels, how they introduced Bernardo, cutting wood, similar scene in Seven Samurai. I was like, oh, that's the woodcutter guy. Even though he's not a actual woodcutter, but he was just wood cutting because he needed money. I liked the villagers better in Seven Samurai to some degree. the villagers in Seven Samurai are a lot more desperate. They're way worse off. Like, they are just living in, like, total squalor. They have, like, rags for clothes. Their homes are made out of, like, mud and sticks and everything. And they just have, like, absolutely nothing. So you feel more sympathy for them. But on the other hand, they're also kind of like, because you get to spend a lot more time with them in Seven Samurai, you get to see a lot more of their flaws. And in The Magnificent Seven, the villagers seem, well, obviously they're not like well off, but they seem way better off than the villagers in Seven Samurai did. Like, their homes are made of rock and stone and, like some kind of sod or something. And they have like a big festival, and they seem to have like furniture and shit. I was like, oh, they have a chair. Wow, super fancy. So I didn't feel like they were, like, I definitely felt like their situation was bad, but I never felt like they were as desperate as the villagers in Seven Samurai were, but they were also more likable. And I felt like, again, I missed some scenes, but the decision to let the bandits in was actually really interesting because, like I said, that doesn't happen in Seven Samurai. The villagers are, once the Seven Samurai show up, the same scene happens where, nobody comes to greet them, and Mifune's character rings the bell and yells at all of them, like, hey, we're here, like, why aren't you greeting us? And, but then they, once they start, like, the training montage, as it were, like, everyone buys in immediately, and they're never like, oh, is this even worth it? Like, should we keep fighting? And there might have been a little bit of that, but not to the same degree where they actually let the bandits into the town. That was completely new for the Magnificent Seven. And like I said, I think it made the climax a lot more interesting, a lot more rousing, as it were. But yeah, it was interesting seeing the differences between the two. I like the Magnificent Seven. I love Yul Brynner, and Steve McQueen did a great job. All the main 7 actors did a great job. The villagers felt really awkward to me. Like, their delivery was like really awkward and stilted, and it bothered me initially, but as they got more scenes with the gunslinger characters, I think it worked because that one scene where the again, can't remember anybody's name. The character who wears the gloves, the gunslinger who wears the gloves, he has the nightmare. He's like having a PTSD flashback or something, and he gets like really anxious and he's freaking out. And the 2 villagers come in and they're like, like, you're okay, like you're among friends now. And he has this beautiful scene where he's like talking about how, he feels bad for the life he's lived, and the life he's lived is not this great thing, and it's a beautiful scene. And again, it's like, he is just like going at it, just chewing the scenery, and they're just kind of like, they're just there to give him something to play off of. And in those instances, I think it works. And there are a couple of similar scenes where the little village kids come to talk to Bernardo, that was a great little subplot with the kids adopting him. That did not happen in Seven Samurai, and I was glad that they made that change. But, yeah. Both movies are good. I like the fact that Magnificent Seven was a lot shorter. But at the same time, I also kind of missed, like, having all that character work and all the background. The way they assemble the 7 doesn't take nearly as long. And like I said, the kind of turn of events that happens with the bandits versus the town is a little bit different in the movies. In Seven Samurai, it takes way longer, and it's pretty much just like a straight battle the whole time. There's never like, oh, we think that they're gone for good. Like, no, they knew that they would keep coming back. And again, like the bald monk character in Seven Samurai, he was like my favorite. So that translated over with Yul Brynner, who is one of my favorite actors in old Hollywood. And I was like, oh man, if they made the change and Yul Brynner's character dies, I will riot. Thankfully he did not. They kept that, because the lead samurai makes it out in Seven Samurai at the very end, but, he impressed me more. He seemed to be a lot more, strategic and thorough, and he was like going around the town and he's like, all right, we will do this here. Like, we will make a bridge, or we will destroy this bridge, or we will build a wall or something. Like, he was very thorough in his strategy, and I felt like Yul Brynner was just kind of like he was smart for sure, but he wasn't as smart as the guy in Seven Samurai, as his analog in that movie. But again, see, it just translates a little different because you just don't get to spend as much time with them. So the character work is, in some instances, a little thinner, but they focus a lot more on the themes, I think, in Seven Samurai, or in Magnificent Seven, or at least me as a white American audience. It just, I got the whole, life of a gunslinger is terrible a lot easier than I got, whatever Seven Samurai was trying to say. I think theirs was more about, the villagers and the peasants and how their lives are really hard. Because that's the thing is, in Seven Samurai, they kind of hammer in the differences, because it's more like a caste structure in Japan at the time, and the samurai are kind of like their own class. Like, they are their own thing. Like, you are born into a samurai family, you become a samurai. And the Mifune character, he was not born into a samurai caste, so he's kind of looked down upon. But eventually the other 6 samurai, accept him as one of their own, even though he's socially not a member of their caste or their class structure or whatever it is. So there's a difference there, that it's like the samurai is like a group of families that you are born into, whereas in the Old West, you can become a gunslinger no matter what your background is. So there's just a difference there. Anyway, I'll give both movies 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. Because they're both good in their own ways, but like I said, there's just pros and cons for both. So anyway, don't know what I'm going to watch next time, because these are getting fewer and farther between. But whatever it is, I hope it's good. All right, talk to you all later. Bye.
Yeah, Seven Samurai is awesome.
Seven Samurai is awesome. Yul Brynner in Magnificent Seven is awesome too. I'm glad you liked them.
I own it. I've never finished it.
Seven Samurai?
Yeah, not that it's bad. It's just I did finish it, but I own it.
You should definitely kick back to it. It's a great flick.
It's hard when you've seen a lot of. Yeah, it's hard when you've seen a lot of modern movies. They're derivative of that. So.
I always look at it from that perspective of just like, oh, cool, this is like the Origin story. So
yeah.
So I think Corinne,
and in this version of the Magnificent Seven, you don't have any people going, "Where's the gold?" I will always bring that joke back. I love listening to that episode of you just laying into the ADR of that movie
over one line.
It's just unnecessary because It reminds me of, there's a Patton Oswalt skit where he talks about
the dubbing and additional lines.
Yeah, we need you to say stuff off camera.
The transitions of scene,
and that's all I can think about when I think of that. Like I said, I don't know if we're recording.
8th floor lingerie, 7th floor men's department.
I don't know if we were recording at the time, but I asked Brad if I over exaggerated that, and it's only $5 at Best Buy, so it might be something I buy just to see if my memory of it is way over exaggerated. I don't think so.
It should be a commentary. If it is as bad as you say it is, we just do a commentary about it. You could just bitch on it for the length of the movie.
Hey, Brad, can we actually still go around town with you right now?
You can.
Cool.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
So the 88 Drive-In is the last game in town again. They're featuring the Smurfs to start, and then Paul Blart Mall Cop, and then finishing the night with Fury, which I haven't seen. So
they want me to come late at night. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, odd lineup. Although it's so dark out so early that late at night is like 10 o'clock. So
I finally watched Fury for the first time not too long ago, and at night with some of those scenes would probably be pretty awesome. So a lot of flashing going on there.
Yeah, interesting lineup.
Yeah.
Not sure what the connection to November.
I think they're all Sony films.
They are all Sony films.
There you
How
go.
do I know shit like that? Like, you ever wonder why you remember things like that? You shouldn't, and you totally do. And
You're a real nerd.
You know,
that's right, I am. I
Ryan,
know movie studios release films.
here's the thing, Ryan. We spent all this time worrying about which studio was putting out what that we forgot who founded America at one point. So, like we put a priority on one or the other. I mean, I don't know. My grades were not great in school, so maybe I'm just the big idiot in the room.
Movies come out on Blu-ray and Ultra HD. This is what's happening the week of November. What fucking day is it? November 9th or 10th. I don't fucking know.
Ryan, what are you talking about? It's December 25th. Merry Christmas.
November 10th.
Can it be January 20th yet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I said wake me up when January begins.
New Green Day album coming out?
Yeah. I worked with Billy Joel Armstrong. He's a really nice guy.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Anyway, Blu-rays. All right, Ryan, we've got a slew of stuff. I'll start with the big one is that The Office, the complete series, is coming to Blu-ray. You can get that in a nice big old box set.
That's this week?
Yep, this is
I have it coming, and I totally forgot, and they only dropped it like $6. So it cost me like $110. I was like, fuck.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Oof.
No, that's all right.
It's going to be like the end of Home Alone movies where, Laura just yells out, Ryan, you spent how many dollars on The Office again? Dun, 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 dun.
111. See, that's when I'm like, should I wait until Black Friday?
Let me bring this back around to The Office. She's gonna see the charge in on our account. She's gonna go, no, please, God, no,
No.
I mean, at this point in our relationship, she's just like, whatever.
She's like,
then you just look at the camera.
She's
I
like,
have gotten better though, buying Blu-rays and stuff. So she is proud of me.
Yeah, Ryan, you've told me about ones that you've resisted the urge on that I'm like, I can't believe you have willpower that strong.
Yeah.
she's like, why are you the way that you are? Every time I try to have a little fun.
I am excited though. Here's the thing: it's $100, but I was looking, it's like 37 discs.
37
In a row?
And it's going to be on Peacock, where like they have commercial breaks during it.
Boo that.
Actually, you should get both because the Blu-ray has different edited shows than streaming.
That's
So,
right.
This is an instance where that if you're an Office fan, you should have both.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, continue on with the next. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just got another request for another quote regarding physical media, and I said, buy it! But the big movie release this week in terms of a new film is Bill and Ted Face the Music is coming to Blu-ray. So you can pick them up. I I'm definitely gonna get it, but I have this weird feeling that Shout Factory may do something with it at some point or try to redo their Bill and Ted set. I'm hoping that'd be cool. And then Brad, something you told me was gonna happen that I was like eagerly waiting for. That Monty Python is has not only been remastered, as you alluded to, but now we've got a Blu-ray version of it. Monty Python's Flying Circus, the complete series 1 through 4, is coming to Blu-ray. So I will definitely be picking that up because I'd love to see what those transfers look like. Kino Lorber is putting out Amazon Women on the Moon. Which, Ryan, I've never seen this movie, but I've seen clips from it. Have you watched it before?
No, but it's really infamous for being really shitty.
Really? Okay.
So I've never seen it.
The clip that I've seen the most from it is the parody of The Invisible Man, where the guy thinks he's invisible, but he's just walking around naked throughout an entire tavern, and it is pretty funny.
What I do like about Kino Lorber is they like, hey, we'll license that movie.
Oh yeah,
they put out so many Blu-rays.
Case in point for the next couple of films I'm about to discuss. One of them that they're putting out is Bustin' Loose with Richard Pryor and Cicely Tyson from 1981. But really, the creme de la creme of this, we get to talk about old Clinty again, because 3 of his films are coming to Kino Lorber Blu-ray. You will get such classics as The Beguiled, The Eiger Sanction, and Play Misty for Me. Now, all 3 of these films have their merits. Eiger Sanction is the weakest one, but it does have George Kennedy in it, and it is an interesting mountain climbing movie, so I would recommend it. The Beguiled is very, very good, despite the fact that it's the most unlikable I think Clint Eastwood's ever been in a movie intentionally. And then Play Misty for Me is actually a wonderful slasher film that I think, Ryan, have you seen Play Misty for Me?
Mm-mm.
You would like it. It's a very nice little tension-filled movie with Jessica Walters from Arrested Development plays essentially the killer in the movie, and she's really good in it. So yeah, but if you want to check those out, please do. They are a lot of fun. Screen Factory is also getting in on the game this week. They're putting out Brides of Dracula, a Hammer horror film from 1960. And they are also putting out War of the Colossal Beast, which if you've watched MST3K, you have seen this film in some form or fashion. But now you can watch it on its own merits. It's a Bird Eye Gordon movie, and those are always a lot of fun. They're not like terrible, but they're also not great either. Like they are what you think of when you think of 50s sci-fi at many points. They're also putting out a movie called How to Make a Monster from 1958, which I've never seen before. But some of these are ones I might just buy blind buy. And then it looks like Paramount Pictures, for whatever reason, is putting out The Odd Couple 2. And yet I can't get The Odd Couple 1 on Blu-ray. So I'm going to just say that sounds ridiculous on all fronts. But never mind my bitching about that. Warner Archive is putting out Tennessee Johnson with Van Heflin and Lionel Barrymore from 1942. And Criterion is putting out a Charles Weil film called Girlfriends from 1978. And it looks like that is virtually it.
So this is totally off topic, but for some reason on Blu-ray.com they have the 2020 Mulan listed. I think that doesn't come out till December. But have you seen the steelbook for it? It's amazing. It's
live action and the animated are both looking pretty good.
Yeah, the live action one is like this watercolor. It's badass. So I'll be getting that. I think that comes out in December, though.
I still need to see the movie. Well, I think we're all waiting, technically, I guess, except for Corinne.
Yeah, Best Buy doesn't have a date for it, so... I've been watching an unboxing video of the Office set, and all the cases are the same size. Which is funny because the first season was only one disc, I think, even as a DVD.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I'm interested to see how they handle the 4:3 frame on that season.
I really hope they just up converted it, and
Yeah,
just
If they trim off the
4-3.
top and bottom a little bit, whatever,
Yeah.
like it is on streaming.
Hey, Ryan, I do have one more that might interest both of us, coming from Arrow. They're doing something called the American Horror Project, and their first volume is coming out. These are U.S. horror releases that have just never really gotten any attention or release. But there's 3 films in the pack. The first one is The Witch Who Came from the Sea, Moleste's Carnival of Blood, and The Premonition. That
Yeah,
might
I
be
think
interesting.
they release one of these every year.
This one's volume 1, it says.
I remember reading it. Maybe they've released them in Europe before.
Okay, yeah, because Arrow kind of moves back and forth, or
Yeah.
the U.S. arm works differently. But yeah, this might be something to check out, Ryan.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also there is the last one. Actually, is The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary from ESPN, is now available on DVD and Blu-ray, or you can watch it on Netflix because that's where they're primarily streaming it right now. I saw it. I liked it. It wasn't as it seemed like it was very, very one-sided, but whatever. I mean, I knew virtually nothing about the Bulls, so I only knew Michael Jordan was fighting for the rights of the world with the Looney Tunes in Space Jam. So,
It's,
and that's
Actually,
Blu-rays.
I point out Barnes & Noble is having a 50% off Criterion sale
They
right
are.
now, so take advantage of that.
I know.
Like
I got the War of the Worlds. I went to
Oh,
the
you
one
too?
Yeah, I went to the one in Littleton, and like they have a lot, but I think that one might be the most popular one for Criterion because they're constantly restocking it, but it seems like they don't have a huge selection of them.
You should go to Colorado Boulevard because that's where I got mine, and they seemed like they had everything
Nice.
except for Parasite. That was sold out.
Yeah, I'm kind of holding. I'm holding. I can't remember when Irishman is supposed to come out, but that's what I want to get. But I already sent my list off to Ryan. Like I'm looking for Holiday and Only Angels Have Wings.
Yeah,
So.
and I only got the War of the Worlds because I spent $100 on The Office, so. And I totally forgot I pre-ordered, and I meant to keep on looking at it to see if it was going to drop. And then, I get an update from US Bank saying, charge Amazon, and then Amazon sends me, your item is shipped. I'm like, well,
Can't go back now. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I guess I could send it back, but I mean, whatever.
Oh,
Yep,
actually,
nobody sends back The Office.
and let's be honest, Ryan, you really got the War of the Worlds, not for the movie. You just wanted to hear a crystal clear version of that broadcast from 1938 that we all love the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that, right?
Actually, I love the cover art for it.
It is beautiful artwork. Have
That's why I
you seen
got it.
Have you seen the movie before, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh God, I do like the visual effects in it.
Yeah. Many years ago.
George Powell, really interesting cat. But yeah, that's Blu-rays.
We watch films throughout the week.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Brad, what'd you watch this week?
I watched a few things, starting with... Oh, I don't have my list up. What did I do? Sorry.
No, you're not.
Starting with Poltergeist, which I've never seen before.
Ooh.
The original from '82. It was playing ahead of Friday the 13th at the drive-in a couple weeks ago, but I got there late, so I got in, I think, halfway through the movie. And it's actually, the whole story of, Spielberg ghost directing it, basically. I can see how it's edited together, kind of. Like there's some cuts that just feel like they're piecing unfinished work together, I guess. But it was fun to. I wouldn't say it was like scary or anything, but it's fun to see where a lot of stuff from pop culture has referenced it.
Yeah.
Like the whole "they're here," I think I always attributed to a different movie. So there's that. But yeah, it's really just a family is in a house, and one day they just start getting haunted by poltergeist, and I'm surprised at how little the real estate company figured into it, considering what the plot was.
Well, I think all you need is those small scenes with James Karen to basically imply what's going on with the real estate situation of that house.
Well, I felt like it would have been a strong B story, because really the movie is just, the ghost doing weird things to everybody for about, I don't know, like an hour of the movie. What were you say?
No, nothing. I was making a adjustment in my chair.
Oh, yeah, and then it's kind of like the whole real estate company building all the houses on a burial ground just kind of figures into the end really quick, So I'm interested to watch the remake, which has Sam Rockwell in it. So,
Ryan, I'm going to defer to you on that one.
It's okay.
Okay.
But the effects are like pretty like impressive, for its time. Like a really creative like work too. Like when everything gets sucked into the closet, when like things float around the room, like it's actually, I was pretty impressed. So
this man, Craig T. Nelson tearing off the skin off his face still haunts me.
Oh yeah,
that's such a good effect.
And like sliding everyone around the kitchen,
Yeah.
and the chair stacking, with the clarity of streaming, you can actually see, it's a single shot where the table setup is all clear, and then it pans over to the kitchen part of the room, and then as it pans back to the left, you can see the plant in the corner shake just a little bit, to where they move stuff around. There's like a grip hiding under there, so that ruined that illusion. But I did try to figure out like, well, how do they? It must be a removable wall, I guess, or to get that many chairs in there that quick. I mean, they're probably all screwed together, but the door's not that big in any of the spaces. So yeah, as a filmmaker, I was trying to dissect that. So yeah, Poltergeist, it's all right.
It's weird with the whole Spielberg and Hooper thing. Like, I find it really hard to believe that people could just toss aside Hooper's involvement in that movie so casually. Like, there's a lot of stuff in that film where you watch it and you're just like, this is clearly something that Hooper's in control of. Like, he wasn't inept,
Yeah, I feel like he was instrumental in the scares part of it. Whereas Spielberg probably, and that's where the editing comes in, where it feels like Spielberg probably re-edited it toward a more like the family story, like reinforced that.
Yeah.
So
that would hold more water in my head. It's actually funny. Tangina, the medium character, has been getting a lot of play in the news with pictures of her in front of the White House going, "This house is clean."
Yeah, and it came out in '82, which I didn't realize, the same year as
yeah.
E.T., so interesting.
Yeah.
Then I got to watch the Ninja Turtles movie again in theaters as a Fathom event, and which would normally be cool, but it felt like they were like streaming it off of YouTube. Like it felt like it was the VHS standard framing of everything, and the frame rate was off, and like all the dialogue came out of the right speaker instead of the center. So yeah, like the Esquire screenings played much better. But yeah, and the audience wasn't too bad. It was like a couple moms and their kids and like two other nerds, I guess. Yeah, pretty decent turnout.
Were they fake nerds? Because we're real nerds.
Oh,
so.
Everyone but us is fake nerds, dude.
Okay, gotcha.
Then I got to see this is a weird one. There's a movie called Action USA playing at the Draft House. And, all I saw is the thumbnail of just like car stunts going on. It's like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I'll check it out. And then I was a little late, so I missed the opening Q&A segment. And so I started watching this movie, and it's like this movie that just like celebrates classic 80s, like real stunt action, real car chases, like real people falling out of buildings and off of bridges and the gunfights, and it's all practical. And I'm sitting there watching it, thinking it's a modern movie that's like honoring the like 80s action aesthetic. Like it's so meticulously accurate. I couldn't believe it. You know, it in the vein of like, did anyone see the Love Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was like that because the dialogue is so bad. I thought it was a parody, but this is an actual movie from 1989 that Draft House has re-released.
It says that in the descriptor for it on Alamo.
Yeah, I don't read. I just look at cool pictures like cars blowing up.
All right, Ryan, you're gonna have to host Jeopardy now.
Yeah, so it's this woman is tied to this diamond heist, and then the FBI is called in to protect her after her boyfriend is murdered by the bad guys trying to, find out where the diamonds are. And it's just, bad dialogue and 80s cliches and horrible treatment of her. Like everything she does gets everyone else in trouble because she's the woman. And everyone's like super mean to her. And then, the FBI guy, it's a buddy cop dynamic. And they just kind of go cross country trying to avoid these bad guys. And at one point, like the bad guys hire this freelancer who, like, he's this tough guy, and he says lines like, they don't make a bullet big enough to stop me. And like she's just sleeping in her hotel room, and she wakes up, and he's just right there after you thought he was dead the whole time. And he kidnaps her again. She's constantly getting kidnapped. And they go to this like one of the one partner's black, so they go to this cowboy bar, and he's uncomfortable the whole time, and they spend a excess amount of time dealing with the girl who you buy tickets from to get into the bar. It's like, why are we slowing down the movie for a dispute over how much it costs to get in? It's just the only really impressive part is that the stunts are all real. The earliest stunt in the movie is a guy hanging out of a helicopter as it flies through Texas. That's really cool. And then there's just tons of car chases on sidewalks, and like this is 89 and everything, so they have more free range to do that. So not nice. A good story, but it's there for the action. So
it's in the title.
What's that?
It's in the title.
Exactly. Although it's not across the USA, it's really just Texas. And that's all I watched.
Zach?
All right. A lot of rewatches for me, but some I haven't talked about on this show before. I rewatched The Petrified Forest, Little Caesar, and Public Enemy, and All Through the Night, so I've had a bit of a gangster kind of week with those. It's weird. I would love to talk to James again someday, not just on this show in general, but also about The Petrified Forest, because I recommended the film to him years ago. He watched it, and he and I had very different views at the time about the reception of that film. And like now when I look at it, I started seeing from his lens a little bit more, because it's a gangster film set in this last chance diner where Duke Mantee, the world famous killer, is holding a bunch of people hostage in the diner while he plans his getaway. And there's a lot in it about intellectualism versus animalistic nature. And it's a conversation I'd love to have with him again at some point, maybe on another yesteryear or something. I rewatched To Be or Not to Be. That movie's still great. Ryan and I will be talking about it soon on yesteryear. But the big thing that I rewatched is in part of the Orson Welles research, Kino Lorber did a transfer of The Stranger that I didn't know existed. So I picked it up a few weeks back and I sat down to watch it. So The Stranger, if nobody's seen it before, it's Edward G. Robinson, Loretta Young, and Orson Welles in the movie. Edward G. Robinson plays a government man who's set with the task of apprehending Nazi war criminals who have escaped to South America and then has started blending into American society. And the character that he's after, played by Orson Welles, has emaciated himself in this small American town and is marrying one of the daughters of a high judge in society. And the movie basically it's basically a Nazi hunter movie, and it plays out. It's a movie that Welles directed because he wanted to prove that he didn't glow in the dark, in his own words, that he could make a movie that wasn't artistic, that was, just a typical run-of-the-mill thriller or suspense movie. And what he actually ends up doing is proving that he's at the forefront of film noir, because the film comes out in 1946, around the time that noir is starting to gain traction. And you watch the film, you'll see a lot of different motifs in the visual scheme of the film that reflect his style, but also bleed into the noir look that we all know so well. Ryan, actually, I think it's a movie that I think you'll like a lot because it doesn't drag. It's a quickly paced film, and Edward G. Robinson is just basically out hunting a Nazi in this small town America. So. And it's, but I will say that the Kino Lorber transfer of it's done through the Library of Congress, and it was a preserved print. I have this weird feeling that there might be a better transfer out there nowadays because, and I'm sure I'll find one within the week, but the print that they had was very, very, beaten up. There's audio dips in quality constantly, as if though they lost elements of the soundtrack. But it didn't deter me from the movie. I'd seen it before. It's still wonderful. There's a wonderful scene at the end involving falling off of a clock tower. It's actually one of the reasons why I think Ryan will like the film, because something happens to a specific actor in that movie that I think he'd enjoy. Then I rewatched The Awful Truth today at the film club, and I was just reveling again, not just in Grant, but Ralph Bellamy as Dan is just still. Ryan, like when we were watching it at the Alamo, remember when we could go see movies like that at the Alamo?
Mm-hmm.
But remember when we were there, like it just seemed like everybody was laughing at virtually every point you could, but like everybody was really digging Bellamy in it. And he's such a charming, lovable goof in any movie he's in for the most part, that like it's one of those things where like it would be a very long task to do, but I'd love to go through every single Ralph Bellamy movie period, because he did get pigeonholed more or less into that guy who never gets the girl role. But like a few weeks back, I rewatched The Wolfman, and he's the detective in The Wolfman. So he's not even like, there's no love interest issues with him. He's literally just trying to hunt down who's murdering people in this town. But he's got a great range for it. So, but anyway, yeah. And that's all I watched this week.
Yeah, I did not watch that much either. I've been, between the election results, I would watch Friends. So I've been going back through my favorite TV show, Friends, and it's really fun rediscovering episodes you love, and just enjoying the show again. I think you can get it on HBO Max if you want to stream it, but I have the fancy complete series set. I've also today I watched Back to the Future on 4K with my buddy, and it's Back to the Future is one of those movies that every time I watch it, it moves so quickly. You remember lines in it, and I'm just always reminded about how much I loved the movie as a kid, and as I get older, I still absolutely cherish this film. I think Michael Keaton is so great in it.
Michael Keaton?
I mean, Michael J. Fox.
Oh, God, I want to deep fake that.
He'd be a good Doc. Lines when he says, wait a minute, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? And I don't know. And, the effects still hold up really well. It actually looks really great in 4K. I love that movie. And Kellen really liked it. His favorite part was when the dog drove the DeLorean.
Oh, Einstein. Yeah.
Dog is driving. How can that be?
um,
Everybody work.
and the last thing I watched this week is I got to Jason Goes to Hell in my box set, and it has a new 2K scan, so it looks better than it's looked before.
That being said,
the film is still a mess, it is missing a quick scene in it of this dude getting his wrist broken when he tries to punch a possessed person that's Jason. And so there's a really quick scene where the two bones pop out of his arm. That's not in it. They have a 40-minute interview with Adam Marcus on it, who's the director and writer, one of the writers.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, he's really enthusiastic, and I like listening to him. But then as the interview goes along, because the first part of it is him talking about how he really got the gig. He was only 23 or 24. He got it because he's friends with Noel Cunningham, who is Sean Cunningham's son. So then when he went to film school, he was offered, after he got out, he wrote My Boyfriend's Back, which was originally titled Johnny Zombie. And so when Disney bought it, they changed it from, in his words, a really dark comedy to what it is today, which I still kind of like that film. When Kino Lorber did their really huge sale, I haven't watched it yet. There's a collector's edition Blu-ray I got of it that I'm interested to check out. But anyways, he does care about the franchise. But again, listening to him, he always has an excuse, and he always blames the fans for not understanding his vision for Jason Goes to Hell. And
it's a good sign of a great artist when you blame the
the
audience for your failure.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I get that he's proud of his film, and I'm not taking anything away from the film. I mean, a case in point is he's talking about what he would do different now that they have a way to, go back in and add CGI to things. And he talks about there's a scene in the film they go to the Voorhees house. I don't know why the Voorhees house is still standing and it's all decrepit. The film doesn't make any sense. Anyways, the camera pans down and the name Voorhees is on the mailbox and it's misspelled. They forgot an O. And he blames the prop guys for not spelling it right. But then you go, but dude, you still kept the shot in the movie. Like, you don't need that shot. It's an establishing shot.
You're looking at the monitor.
Yeah. Or you have a script supervisor who's like, hey, that's not right. Dude, that's on you. At the end of the day, if a movie doesn't work, it's on the director. I get that he likes some things in it, but to call the fans that it's their fault that they don't get it, that it's everybody else's fault for not understanding what he wants, I think is just really nearsighted and doesn't, I don't know. Like, there's moments in it that are great. Like, the gore in it's pretty cool. I always have a problem when Jason has a tucked-in shirt. I don't know. It really bothers me. Like, he takes the time to tuck in his shirt.
Yeah.
He does it in Jason Lives. That makes more sense because his shirt's untucked until he kills, like, the commando guy for paintball, and then he, like, takes his utility belt and all his weapons and shit.
But now he's a zombie, so why would he care at all? Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, in Jason Goes to Hell, he has, like, a button-up shirt and, like, a belt. It's really weird. And there's an interview with Kane Hodder on the disc, too, and he talks about how he doesn't like the movie at all.
Well, I can imagine. So he's not really in the movie that much.
Yeah, he's not disappointed that he's not in the movie. He talks about that, of course, the exposition and trying to make it as a body swap movie. It just doesn't work right. And I'll always have an issue with it. I did at Denver Pop Culture Con, and I did a panel with Erin Gray, who plays Jason's sister in it. And Jason is reborn by he's like some worm demon, and at one point he crawls up her crotch after she's dead and goes through her vagina to be reborn.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she did the film because her son was a fan of Friday the 13th, but they didn't tell her that that's what was going to happen, and that's not her in it. So the first time she saw it was when she went to the premiere, and I just think that's sleazy. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not a wonderful outlook. And like,
when I talked to her on the panel, she was so nice and she was really gracious about it. But then you could tell that it still bothered her, and it bothered me too, because it's like she's being violated and she wasn't being told about it. And she might have been cool about it if they said, "Hey, just so you know, at this point, he's going to crawl up and go inside your vagina, and that's how Jason's going to be reborn."
Yeah.
I think she might have said, "Hey, can't we do it a different way?" I don't know.
Here's I was wondering this as you were talking, Ryan, because I don't like that movie either. But is it possible that Marcus's reactions to fans is in part by like I think you're probably more fair than most people who will lambast the movie. Is it just that he's just like got so fed up with people giving him shit that now he just uses that as like a fucking comeback?
No, the only reason I only say no, and I don't know him. He's welcome to come on the show and defend himself.
Yeah, by all means. Like he's not an unintelligent person. He's very open in interviews.
And that's the thing, is like he's passionate and he understands it, but I think it comes from a place of arrogance where he thinks he's smarter than the fans.
Right.
And that's my only issue is you're making a film, and yeah, I know that, Friday the 13th isn't high art cinema, but there is an established fan base to it. So if you're going to remove Jason from it and you're going to make a different movie, I'm okay with you making a different film. But if it doesn't work, and it doesn't work because there's a whole scene with Creighton Duke and Steven, the actor's character's name, where Creighton Duke has to explain the film for like 5 minutes because they didn't do a good job explaining what's going on. So they have to have a scene of Creighton Duke telling the audience what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's just that's when the film's out of control. And I remember reading, I'll have to go back to my Crystal Lake memories. I'm pretty sure Sean Cunningham had to take over at some point because it wasn't getting done and he was treating actors bad. But, it's so yeah, there's a level of arrogance to it that I don't like. And it comes across in every interview I've read or seen him in. He does have a funny intro, though. When you watch the film, he says, "Hey, thanks for buying this movie for the 4th time." And I was thinking, I said, I have bought this movie 4 times.
My ultimate thought, because I don't know how actually like super involved he was in that Texas Chainsaw 3D thing, but like that was my actual first taste of Adam Marcus with a franchise before I ever saw Final Friday, and my impression of him is like I appreciate that he wants to think outside the box. I just feel like he's picking the wrong places to do so.
Agreed. Whatever. He's more than welcome to come on the show and defend himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's hard. Like he's really passionate about it, and I mean the gore in it is pretty awesome. Everybody refers to the lady who's split in half, but actually, I think one of my favorite shots is the coroner whose face is like mashed in between the bench or something, and his face goes like through it, and then when Jason pulls him out, it like peels apart. It's pretty awesome.
I actually do love the FBI sting at the beginning. That's a fun scene. There's
moments. It has moments, but they're just too fleeting for it to be a good film.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what I watched this week. This week, we went and saw Let Him Go. Brad, should people see Let Him Go?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good movie. It's intense. It's also kind of like a romance story. Not as actiony as the trailer would have you believe, but really powerful, it's all that measured, like tense, meticulous lead up to all the good stuff. So definitely worth checking out.
Zach?
I think you should. So I will just say before we get into everything that the trailer did not completely misled me, as Brad said. This was a lot more reflective than I thought it would be. But like the one thing I'll say off the bat, hands down, it's a really solid, efficient film. I don't know if it like rises to anything greater than it needs to. It's very simple. It's very straightforward, and it's got top-notch performances across the board. So you'll be surprised when you watch it.
This is one of my favorite films of the year. I think the quietness of it, the performances are all amazing. The director has this video where it's called a 60-second film school, and he talks about how you can make a scene tense by just a look. And I'll talk about the scene after we play the trailer. And it's pretty great. And he's pretty spot on with it. Here is you should go see this film. It's awesome. Here's a trailer for Let Him Go.
You're going with me or without me?
I saw exactly what I've always felt about Donnie Weeboy. And I saw that girl can't protect her child.
Margaret, Jimmy is her boy.
He's your grandson.
We're trying to locate a Donnie Weeboy. He married our son's widow. Got our grandson with him.
You let it be known you're looking for a wee boy. I'll find you.
We thought we'd see Jimmy, since we're in the neighborhood.
Since you're in the neighborhood. Go careful. Where in the hell are we? We came to see our grandson.
My boy doesn't have to answer to you. And we don't have to answer to you. Whoa. Come with us.
No, he'd kill me. Him and his mother.
Your grandson. He's a wee boy now.
You're with me on this, right?
I'm right behind you.
He hit Lorna. You hit your wife? Like...
Don't start what you can't finish.
So right off the bat, I didn't know this movie took place in the 50s.
Yeah. Looks great though.
It opens with this really quiet, really great. The score in this film is incredible. Really quiet, mood-setting thing, and Kevin Costner and Diane Lane are at their home with their daughter-in-law and their son, and they're repairing a fence. The son takes the horse, and then the horse comes back with no rider, and Kevin Costner finds his son has died from the horse kicking him off. And the next scene, like, this is what I love about this movie. So the next scene is Kevin, I can't remember, George. He's sad, and Diane Lane is tying his tie, and he's wearing all black, and you think he's going to a funeral, but he's actually going to his daughter-in-law's new wedding with her new soon-to-be husband, and you realize that is also sad, that he'll be losing his, maybe not seeing his grandson as much, and, it's a really moving film. And then it goes into that the the new husband is abusing his daughter-in-law and his grandchild. That Diane Lane, who she sees them, Margaret, she sees that happen. And when she goes to bring them a cake to check on her grandson, they just get up and leave. And Diane Lane's character decides she's going to go find him. And and they go to North Dakota to find their grandson. And that's pretty much the plot of the movie.
Yeah, like said before, very simple. Like it's not like it's very much those same kind of like it follows that mold of like, parents, coming in to save the day kind of thing. What I was like the first halfway through the movie, I was like, this is the best geezer exploitation movie of the year. Cause it is like Diane Lane and Kevin Costner are grandparents on a mission. They're not messing around. Mm-hmm. What I like about it ultimately is like, because of that romantic angle that Brad alluded to, there's a lot of room for them to actually contemplate why they're making the decisions they're making in going to pursue to get the grandson. Because at a certain point when the film becomes super violent, that's when a lot of questions get thrown into play. Like, I guess since we're in spoiler territory now, we can kind of talk about it. But when they finally track down, it's the Wee Boy, the Wee Boy estate in the middle of fucking nowhere. Jeffrey Donovan brings them to the fucking house, and they have that scene with Blanche, the mother of Donnie, their daughter-in-law's new beau.
That was the FBI guy in Honest Thief, right?
Jeffrey Donovan? No, not.
One of the Wee Boys was.
Oh yeah, he is.
The dog, yeah.
Yeah. He is. He was also in the Shockingly Evil film from last year, and he's been in J. Edgar and some other stuff that we've all seen him through stuff. He's actually he's really good in the movie because he plays creepy super well.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, I've seen this guy recently. What was that from?
Would it have been Fargo season 2?
No, it was Honest Thief. That's the point I was making.
Yeah, Honest Thief. But they have that dinner scene that's super tense, super terrifying. And by the time that they have the confrontation where Costner gets his fucking fingers cut off, when he's recovering, she's still trying to get us to come up with solutions on how to help other people, and he just this is one of the best Costner scenes I've ever seen in a movie. He just loses it, and he just goes like, "What? When are you going to stop?" How much is enough for you in regards to this quest to unify a family? And Ryan, I think you might be alluding to this with the director video because I haven't seen it yet, but there's a lot of moments where this movie's quiet and it creeps the fuck out of you because it's so quiet. There's a lot of tension.
The director's talking about the scene you just talked about where they confront the Wee Boy clan.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about how you build tension by letting it play.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Costner is so great in this film because when Diane Lane hugs her grandson and doesn't want to give him back, he does a subtle thing where he scooches in his chair. Like he's not going to back down from these guys, but he also gives her a look saying, this isn't the time or place to do this.
Yeah, and they hold on those shots of them for so fucking long. Like it felt like a Leone standoff in like a Western that he would have done.
Yeah, and I was telling you, Zach, before you saw it, that it's like a film noir / Western.
Yeah, very much a neo-noir Western kind of film. Like there are times when the mood feels like a No Country or like anything of that nature, but it's so... It feels kind of like a traditional Western if you also shoved a noir film of that same era into it, because like there's a lot of seediness in it. A lot of it takes place in towns, so it's not like they're out on the prairie. But there's definitely that mood of seediness and unsettled nature in there that like absolutely lends itself to that description. That's why when you texted it to me, I was just like, well, maybe he's overselling this, but this sounds like fun. And then I watched him like, no, everything he described in that text is absolutely what happened in this movie. And also Leslie Manville as Blanche, the mom. If we didn't give her an Oscar for Phantom Thread, which is fine, whatever, I think we owe her one for this because she made pulling pork chops out of an oven creepy. And I don't know how anybody else does that but her. And by the time, what's great about her characters is that we don't know exactly what her background with her boys has been, other than the fact that she's clearly a domineering mother. And I like that we don't, all we know about her is that she's a fucking villain, like just a flat out terrible human being. And so when she gets shot by Diane Lane at the end, it is like one of the most glorious sights you'll see in the movies this year.
In my audience, old people were cheering.
Dude, I applauded. I was the only one in the theater. I was going like, bravo, like that was such a satisfying moment in a movie where, we've seen, like, I don't know if I'm bold in saying this, but like, I don't know, like in the last 20 years or 10 years, is this the best Kevin Costner performance we've gotten within that time?
I haven't watched Yellowstone, so
yeah, well, okay, movie, not TV.
Man of Steel. I love Kevin Costner, so I'll probably I don't know. I'll have to think. I mean, 3 Days to Kill is pretty close.
I haven't seen
Draft Day.
I haven't seen Draft Day. I've heard he's pretty good in Draft Day.
He's great in Draft Day.
Hey, Man of Steel. Huh?
What did you think about the movie, Brad?
Yeah, I was really hoping to go into it pretending it was a Man of Steel prequel. But the end of the movie, that doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I was really impressed with just how, it wasn't a straight up like action movie. It was, the title has a double meaning. It's not so much rescuing the kid; it's like letting go of their first son's death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their son's death, and like that's what Kevin Costner really struggles with. And the rest of the movie is really like him trying to convince her to let that go because she's projecting it onto the grandson.
Yeah,
just watching him bear the brunt of all her mistakes.
It is interesting too because how each character is different. Where Costner's character internalizes it, where she is really outgoing with it, because there's those great like. I actually cried a few times in this film because
when she whispers at him, like after that
or
story,
when he's shaving. He has a flashback of him shaving with his kid and things like that, and then it flashes back to the present, and she's thinking about it too, and that's why she loves him and stuff. And it's
and he doesn't want to go on this journey at all. Like she makes him go, and just like the whole time, he makes all these sacrifices for her. And then, I thought the movie was going to end when they're at the Native American kids' ranch. And he's finally could convince her to not do it. And I thought the movie was going to they were going to go home after that. And then she wakes up and you're just like, oh shit, he is on a warpath.
What's great is he convinces her that so he can do it on his own.
Yeah.
Because he knows that if he takes her with her, something could happen to her. And I love that scene too, where he puts the shotgun on Donnie's head, and he's like, "Wake her up."
Yeah.
and he does, and he's like, "You want to come with me?" And she says, "Yes." And she just,
no time to think about it. Just go.
Yeah.
And then. What?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, and the whole hatchet thing. For like the movie does a good job of like misdirecting me. Like that was one of those scenes where I thought like they're not going to cut his fingers off. Like he's going to get away. And then when he's in the house in the finale, he gets shot once, and you think he might get out okay, and he gets wasted again. And I guess Donnie just died in the fire. He's unconscious and just burned to death. Like that's pretty.
Well, there is that added mystery of, because you see him fight Blanche, and then
where did she go?
Yeah, Margaret shows up, and there's there's carnage, but you really don't know what happened.
Yeah. That was the only part that was like, because, she does, even though she has the drop on Margaret before she shoots her, there's like enough time for Margaret to take her down. It would have been easy to be like, oh, she's out of bullets, and then that makes sense. And then what was the other thing that was like weird? Oh yeah, I was a little disappointed in. So Margaret makes tells what's the Native American kid's name? I forget.
Peter.
Pete. Yeah. She's like, oh, you're coming to help me, and so he rides with her. And then in the aftermath, they kind of go their separate ways. And I was expecting like, you should come back to you be a part of our family here. And she's just like, okay, well, you should probably get going. I was like, what? Okay, well, that's kind of mean.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if everybody else noticed this, but there's in that final brawl, I could be wrong, but I believe I saw him punching one of them out with the hand that got the fingers chopped off, and I'm like, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Oh yeah.
That was just like, it was like there's small things in it where I'm just like, that's adding to the impact here.
Yeah. Also, that so when Costner sneaks into the house, that whole scene is so silent.
Yeah.
As he's walking around, and the people behind me decided to use that time to have a whisper conversation that the whole audience could hear. And then while I'm listening to that, I'm thinking, like, that's an old house. Like, how is he not creaking every one of those boards as he steps around? Like, it finally kind of a little bit happens when he gets to the stairs. But that was like another point where I was like, really? Like, I'm not buying that he's that silent.
I do. He's a silent assassin, Kevin Costner.
I feel like I buy it only because the director does this a couple times in the movie where he turns sound down to nearly nothing in ways that I've had to witness with doing the series that I did, where like if you turn down the sound where you want to, you'll achieve the effect that you want. Like,
it was great. It was so unsettling.
Yeah, like that. Like, and even the opening where you have a lot of there's very little dialogue in that opening beyond that conversation in the kitchen, and then a lot of it is moving towards just like looking at people's faces, looking at how they're feeling throughout those moments. And that by the time you get to that final scene, it all falls within that motif. Like, I like that this film is not like burdened with dialogue, so that when dialogue happens, like with the Blanche character in that dinner scene, there is like an added amount of tension because now suddenly everybody's talking, and now something's like, it's building, it's building up towards something. Otherwise they wouldn't be dropping this dialogue here. And also the way it's shot in that house before the lights go on and the fire starts, like some beautiful, that's why I like Ryan's description of noir, because he's moving in and out of the shadows like beautifully. Like, it's beautifully lit.
Yep, movie's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is Freaky on Friday the 13th, which looks fun.
Hey, it's Freaky Friday the 13th.
That's right. It's a slasher movie from Blumhouse that's rated R. Haven't had one of those since Halloween, so.
Oh, it is rated R?
Yeah.
Holy shit, cool.
Why? It's only 2 weeks away. Like, why didn't they just do it on Halloween, do you think? Because of the 13th part?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're playing up the Friday the 13th part. But, I mean, I'm down. I want to see a horror movie.
Yeah.
A funny one, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week at the movies.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.